Someone just told you something you weren't supposed to know. About someone else. Something private. Something a little scandalous. And before you even have time to process it, something happens inside you. A kind of alertness. A quiet spark of interest. You lean in slightly. Your attention sharpens. And without meaning to, you begin to wonder who else knows. That reaction has a name, but it also has an age. And it is far older than the conversation you just had. Most people think of gossip as something trivial. A guilty indulgence. A character flaw. But evolutionary psychology tells a completely different story. And that story begins not in a coffee shop or an office. It begins around a fire tens of thousands of years ago. To understand why humans gossip, you have to understand what information meant in the ancestral world. For most of human evolutionary history, your ancestors did not have newspapers. They did not have social media. They did not have legal systems to regulate behavior. What they had was each other. A group of roughly 150 people. And in that group, social information was not entertainment. It was survival data. Knowing who was trustworthy and who was not could determine whether you lived or died. Knowing who was forming alliances, who was breaking agreements, who was reliable in a crisis. All of that information was critical, and the most efficient way to gather it. Talking about other people. Robin Dunbar, the anthropologist at Oxford University who identified the social limits of the human brain, found something striking. Approximately 65% of all human conversation is social in nature. Not about weather, not about abstract ideas, about other people. Who did what? Who said what? Who can be trusted? Dunbar called this social grooming. In other primates, relationships are maintained through physical grooming. Monkeys and apes spend hours picking through each other's fur. Not primarily for hygiene, for social bonding, for alliance maintenance. Your brain replaced that physical process with something more efficient, language. And specifically, the use of language to talk about the social world. Gossip is how humans maintain relationships at scale. But here is where it gets more interesting. Because gossip is not just relationship maintenance. Gossip is also a moral enforcement system. If someone in your ancestral community was cheating, taking food without contributing, breaking the rules that kept the group functioning, the most powerful tool available was not punishment. It was reputation damage. If enough people talked about what that person had done, their standing in the group collapsed. The social consequence was swift and powerful. Your brain evolved to participate in this system, to gather information about violations, to share it with trusted others, to monitor your own reputation through the information that reached you. But there is a strange layer here. Something researchers discovered that most people never expect. Gossip doesn't just feel interesting. It feels good. Matthew Feinberg, a social psychologist at the University of Toronto, studied the emotional experience of gossip and found something remarkable. When people shared information about someone violating social norms, it produced a measurable reduction in stress. A kind of relief. The act of sharing the information activated something that felt like satisfaction. Your brain was rewarding you for doing exactly what the group needed you to do. Spreading social intelligence. And the strangest part, Feinberg found that people who witnessed a social violation and were forced to stay silent showed elevated heart rate and distress. The urge to share was not just an impulse. It was a biological drive. A system evolved to ensure that important social information traveled through the network quickly. Now imagine standing in your tribe 40,000 years ago. Someone has been secretly taking more than their share of the food supply. You have noticed. Others have noticed. But nothing has been said. Your brain feels the urgency of this. The slight discomfort of sitting on information that needs to move. And the relief when you finally share it with someone you trust. That relief is not a personality trait. That relief is a biological function. A signal that the social immune system is working. But here is the counterintuitive part. You already know that gossip can be harmful, that it can damage reputations unfairly, that it can spread inaccurate information. All of that is true, but it does not mean the system is broken. It means the system is running in the wrong environment. Your ancestral gossip network operated among 150 people you knew intimately. People whose behaviors you observed directly. People whose reputations you could verify. Today, you live in a world of billions. You receive information about people you have never met. You share information about situations you cannot fully see. The instinct is the same. The function is the same. But the consequences are different. So the next time you find yourself leaning in when someone says, "You didn't hear this from me." The next time you feel that automatic alertness when social information starts to move. The next time you feel the faint pull of relief after sharing something with someone you trust. Remember what is actually happening. Your brain is not being petty. Your brain is running one of the oldest social programs in human history. A system that helped your ancestors monitor trust, maintain alliances, regulate behavior, and keep the group intact across hundreds of thousands of years. The information feels like gossip, but the function was always something older, something more essential. The social immune system of the human tribe. Still running, still scanning, still making sure the group knows what it needs to know.